Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. We're back into extreme class only ESBR. I say it sometimes like it's a bad thing, but some of the teams we put together are still actually just really good. So it's not really a bad thing. It's just kind of what we have to do. And as you can tell by the title of the video, we are using the free-to-play, fully rainbowed fully rainbowed EZA Zarbon and Dodoria. We're finally putting them through the ringer, through their test. Got a few of these to catch up on, including the great AP EZAs, but we're starting with these two. And I'm not glad. I'm actually looking forward to using these two. You know, their passive is pretty decent as long as we have them on rotation with a freezer at all times. Which, how many units of freezer? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 freezer units out of the full 7. So, and we're going to be having them on rotation with the main freezer right now. The only annoying thing is, because their links are like incredibly bad, they literally only share one link with Freezer, which is Nightmare. Not that he really needs it, it doesn't actually matter, he's still going to be clocking out big damage, but I mean, if we just do that, I mean, look how many more links we have. But you got to do what you got to do for the sake of the video, right? So we're going to be running them on rotation with the full power LR Freezer. And yeah, we're going to see what they can do. So we'll give you these. And then we're going to rotate the LR first form freezer off, get him into the first slot on the other rotation. Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to using these two. As long as you have them with freezer, they're really good. I think they're good anyway, but they're pretty decent. You know, to get attack and defense plus 100%. I'm going to have to refresh myself on some of their details because it's been a while. But attack and defense plus 100%. Plus an additional attack and defense plus 10% with each attack performed up to 70%. Plus an additional attack and defense plus 70%. And seals, which is great for ESBR, and seals the attacked enemy super attack when there is an ally's name who includes Freezer attacking in the same turn. So, unlike, for example, Krillin and Piccolo, or Piccolo and Krillin yesterday, they aren't heavily reliant on Freezer, which is good. We can actually have them off rotation without Freezer, but having them with Freezer in the likes of ESBR means that they can seal, which in ESBR can be very useful, of course. If it's like legendary GT Goku event, then obviously I don't really care about running them or making them sure, you know, they're constantly with a freezer unit, because it just doesn't matter because we can't get that part of their passive off. Like, yes, you also lose out on an additional attack and defense plus 70%, but you know, it's not the end of the world. As I said, it's not, if I could compare them to a unit, it's not like the scenario you have with, you know, again, Piccolo and Krillin, who lose out on literally majority, not even like a part of, majority of their passive because you don't have Kid Gohan on the team. So these two are still pretty good without having the freezer on the same rotation, but having that additional attack and defense plus 70% is quite nice on top of the eventual stacked up attack and defense to 70% on top of the base 100% they get on attack and defense. So they're looking pretty good. Also, don't forget as well, they're space traveling warriors. Support giving Q plus 3 and attack and defense plus 30%. If you haven't realized, the entire team is a space traveling warriors / Planet Namek Saga team. So not only could they support whoever's in the floater spot, but also for the fact that they also get the bonus of having all attacks effective against all types when there is a Planet Namek Saga category enemy, which obviously we don't have now, which is kind of a given. But at least if I don't even think, is there any Planet Namek Saga enemies in this on Extreme only? I don't think there is. But if there is, at least they do have all their attacks effective against all types. Now this is kind of annoying. So I am going to pop an Archer to be safe because we could take a bit of extra damage I don't really want to take. Put them in slot 1 as well. Build up their passive a bit more. Not that we'll probably make it past this rotation because Frieza will do ridiculous damage. Zarbon and Dodoria will probably finish off Trunks here as well because of the type advantage. 1.4 million critical. Excuse me. I know that's pretty good. That is pretty good. Of course, in Legendary GT Goku event, that part of their passive where they build up to the 70%, which is what, 7 attacks in total, which isn't too bad to be fully built up. Okay, I mean, maybe we did make it past. It doesn't matter. We're going to pop Frieza's active, which should probably kill Goten here. But yeah, the building up to the 70% shouldn't take you too long, of course. It's slightly better suited, of course, to the legendary GT Goku event because you have a bit more time to build up, whereas ESBR is, you can take hefty amounts. Okay, maybe we won't finish him off with the active, but it's not really much of an issue because we're going to finish you off now regardless. But yeah, you know, you basically don't get dealt heavy amounts of, you get a dodge off as well. You didn't even need to evade, but you did. Fair play. Yeah, you don't take, you know, immediately ridiculous amounts of damage in a legendary GT Goku event. So that part of the passive, they're probably slightly more suited there to legendary GT Goku event, sorry. I think overall, looking at their complete kit, no, to be fair, there actually isn't any Planet Namek Saga enemy, so we actually can't get that part of the passive off. But looking at their kit as a whole, I reckon they're probably more suited to ESBR overall. It's just the fact you have to build up a part of their passive. As long as you have Frieza there. Other than that, I think, to be fair, are they more suited to one? I don't actually know. It doesn't completely matter. I'm struggling today. Jesus, I am struggling today. I don't know what's wrong with me. We're getting a super attack at the end. We're getting a super attack at the front from Krillin. I think we go for another Whis. Who's super attacking at the end? It's Tien, isn't it? Why'd it have to be Tien? Why'd it have to be Tien? Okay. Good idea is attack Tien. But I think overall, I don't think these two, in my opinion, I don't think these two, I would say that they're more suited to one of the harder modes than the other. Of course, you will not be taking these two in the God event. No question about that. But they lower attack and defense on Super by 20% for 3 turns, which is, it's okay, it's respectable. As I said, you do build up part of their passive, which is more suited to the Goku event, but the rest of their passive is pretty much more suited to ESBR, so they could probably do or work really well in both events, or maybe they just slightly, and I mean ever so slightly, like the tiniest sprinkle, ever so slightly suit ESBR for the sole fact that if you are running them on the same team as a Frieza unit, or attacking in the same turn, sorry, specifically, then you can seal, which of course you cannot do in Legendary GT Goku event, you can do in ESBR, so they probably just about suit ESBR a bit more. But I reckon they are probably a capable unit in Legendary GT Goku event without you having to force them to be good or, you know, work a bit better, if that makes sense. Put you in slot 1, you're going to absolutely destroy Krillin because of that type advantage. You'll be taking no damage against Gohan either. Start hitting Piccolo. Raccoon has the guard, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure the guard isn't selective to having a Ginyu Force unit, even though we do actually have one on the team in Jace. I brought him along pretty much because he supports as well, but he's a very good unit. All the Ginyu Force CJs, of course, are very good units. But yeah, I reckon he's still going to be capable in the Legendary GT Goku event here, and they're obviously going to be very capable here as well, you know. Taking advantage of the seal they have, taking advantage of the fact they're lower attack and defense. The only part, as I said, that is more suited to the Legendary GT Goku event is, of course, that building up part of their passive up to that 70%, which you need to do 7 attacks worth. But the only thing that really lets this unit down, which I think is obviously just incredibly obvious. Do I use an item here? Do I use an item here? Don't actually know. We still have the attack and defense plus 100% on top of the original 100% we get. Don't actually know. I think I don't really want to pop another item, but I think I have to. Because if Frieza takes too much damage, then it's done. It's all over. Do that. We'll attack Krillin. And then we'll attack Piccolo. But yeah, the only major thing that lets these two down, of course, is their link skills. Their links are quite for the most part, quite bad. Like, they have a few links where you could probably get one of them off. Like, you have Nightmare with the LR full power Freezer. Brawl Beatdown's an okay one. And Shocking Speed. And then partially Shattering the Limit. But Freezer's Army, Freezer's Minion, and Loyalty. Yeah, no, their link skill isn't the best set, let's just be honest. Their categories aren't too bad either. But in terms of do they get on any teams? Dynamic Saga, maybe. If you're missing a few units, they probably get on there. And I mean, if you obviously have the LR full power freezers, you know, especially in ESBR, probably worth taking them, especially because they can seal. Dragon Ball Seekers, again, maybe if you put a freezer unit on there, they could get on there. Join Forces, no. Terrifying Conquerors is an option, but there's so many. Terrifying Conquerors is literally, who's super attacking? Is it Krillin? Okay, no, there's about there's about at least 2 super attacks coming up top. So yeah, we're just gonna like avoid the damage there. We're gonna hit, but no, we're gonna hit Roshi. And then I'm gonna hit Krillin with Jace from Spice Australia. But yeah, and so Terrifying Conquerors literally is, you pretty much want to build up. It's predominantly just a freezer team, freezer and cooler team, which, so they can go on there very easily, probably, especially with that part of the passive where, you know, you're sealing because there's a freeze unit attacking in the same turn. But you know, you have the likes of LR full power freezer, the EZA final form cooler, you have the transforming cooler. You have even both free-to-play coolers, depending on what event you're doing. Like, for example, Legendary GT Goku event, the stack defense. You've got the guarding freezer. You've got LR first form freezer. You also have, I mean, there's probably numerous ones I'm missing. Let me just click on Terrifying Conquerors. I mean, there's probably some I'm missing off the top of my head. Even the LR Turles. I still need to Dokkan Awaken him. Like, if you didn't know, I actually bought him with coins. Like, I always buy the one I'm missing. And I still haven't Dokkan Awakened him. It takes quite long. Because of the medals you need. We're actually getting a Dokkan attack off, which kind of useful, but I'd rather have saved that going into the final stage against Goku. Because then we would have absolutely clotted him and Vegeta for huge amounts of damage. But it's okay. But yeah, you've got Turles. You even have the Ginyu Force units, which you could literally pack out a full team of Terrifying Conquerors with all the EZA Ginyu Force units with LR full power Freezer. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of options on Terrifying Conquerors. Even the free-to-play LR Int Meta Cooler. Bojack will eventually get an EZA, the LR one. You also have, you have the AGL Turles. I can't wait for him to get a Dokkan Awakening. Not Dokkan Awakening. EZA, definitely not Dokkan Awakening. You have both EZA Golden Freezers. I mean, they could go on this team. First form EZA Freezer, who's amazing. Third form Freezer from 350 mil. Yeah, Dokkan Fest Bojack. There's a lot of options. They could get on there if you went down, of course, the full Freezer cooler route. But there's so many options on there, probably don't make it on there. And the Space Traveling Warrior is a very similar kind of thing to Terrifying Conquerors as well, in my opinion. But nonetheless, they can get on some of those teams. It's just they don't replace anyone, so you probably won't be putting them on any teams. So I mean, they are still a pretty good unit. As I said, I think obviously they don't displace anyone on those teams. This Freezer's popping off. My guy, you got 5 dodge in the dupe system. You've dodged twice. He's popping off. He wants it all about him. But yeah, they go on some decent teams, and they could easily get on them, especially because the numerous amounts of, well, the ones they do get onto, like Planet Namek Saga, Terrifying Conquerors, Space Traveling Warriors, because of the copious amounts of freezer units on these teams, they can get on there very easily. It's just they probably don't displace the numerous amounts of units that already go on them teams. I mean, if you're missing a bunch of units, maybe, but I'd probably just say that's more so toward Planet Namek Saga. If you're missing some of the big hitters, like the more important units for that team, they could probably get on there quite easily. Terrifying Conquerors, Space Traveling Warriors, probably not, just because there's numerous amounts of units that goes on both those teams who are going to be a lot better than these two. But other than that, apart from probably just that, which sounds like I'm kind of putting dirt on their name, which I'm not. It's just, you know, you kind of got to cover both grounds when you talk about units, you know, the good, the bad. they're a pretty good unit. They're a pretty good unit. Like, yes, there's a part of their passive which is, I don't want to say restrictive, because restrictive makes it sound like it's bad, but you know, it's reliant on having a freeze unit attacking in the same turn to get the seal off, and the additional attack and defense plus 70%. Yes, you do need a freeze unit for that, but the teams they go on, as I said before, there's numerous amounts of freezer units on these teams that you would put them on anyway. And it's not even like you need to force yourself to use a freezer, and that freezer unit isn't good, because a lot of the freezer units I've mentioned are very good units as well. For example, again, comparing them to Krillin and Piccolo, or Piccolo and Krillin, who are heavily reliant on having a Kid Go on the team, which I'm not comparing them to that, you know, that extent. There are hardly any good Kid Gohan units in the entire game, barring the Dokkan Fest AGL one that recently came out on Global. Which means if you don't have him, you're probably not going to be using Piccolo and Krillin. Whereas these two, you can get away with actually not having them on the same rotation as a freeze unit and they'll be fine. But it would be nice to get the additional attack and defense plus 70%. So, yeah, as I said, I'm not knocking these two. Do I pop an item just to be safe? I don't want to risk it. I don't even need to, because I have full health, but I don't want to risk it at all. But yeah, even though you do lose out on that 70%, they're still a pretty good unit. And as I said, even though there is a you know, I don't know what to call it, but they have that type of passive where they get almost like an added bonus by having them attacking in the same turn as a freezer unit. As I said, it's not even like you have to force yourself to put a freezer unit on the teams they go on, or, you know, because as I said, the freezer units that are on these teams anyway are just very good, and you'll probably be having at least one freezer unit on Terrifying Conquerors or Space Traveling Warriors anyway, and Planet Namek Saga 100%, because LR Full Power Freezer is the lead. So, you know, it's not like you're forcing yourself to do anything, so it's not restrictive, but it's conditional. But it's no, you know, it's not a bad thing, just because, as I said, automatic, like, just anyway, you would automatically have a freeze unit on one of them teams that they would go on anyway. In Planet Namek Saga, because LR Full Power Freeze is the lead. Not to mention he goes on Terrifying Conquerors and Space Traveling Warriors, and there's other good freeze units that go on Terrifying Conquerors and Space Traveling Warriors anyway. I was very long-winded. I probably didn't have to say that. I probably didn't have to make it that long-winded to make it make sense, but I wanted to kind of cover all bases. I like people to understand me. I think I've said this before. When I explain something, I would like people to understand me clearly, so I kind of cover all bases when I'm talking about things. But yeah, I mean, that was very easy. That was very, very easy. I think even without having them attacking in the same turn as Frieza, which in ESBR you probably want them to more often or not. This was the original team I was going to take before I forgot I was doing Extreme Class only. You probably want to run them in the same rotation as a Frieza just so you can seal in ESBR, because it's a useful tool to have, because you can't do it in many other events. But I think even without attacking in the same turn as Frieza, I think these two will be quite fine. Even in the Goku event, they'll be capable. And as I said, it's not even like you're forcing yourself to have them on the same team as a freeze unit, because a freeze unit goes on all the teams they fit on seamlessly anyway. So yeah, that was quite easy. I didn't need to force them to pop an item to make sure we didn't die because of them. They're a solid free-to-play unit. They're a very solid free-to-play option. They're respectable, and I like them. It'll be nice to see how they do in the Goku event as well, once their passive is fully built up to that 70%, along with having the additional 70% with a freezer unit. So I'm looking forward to that. Not to mention as well, when we do that, he's going to be giving LR Full Power Freezer Key +3 and attack and defense plus 30%, while critting Goku and hitting him for extra damage as well. So freezers are going to be doing even more damage, which kind of makes up for the fact that they'll only be showing one link. But yeah, I like these two. They're a good unit. They're respectable. Not heavily reliant, and they're good. I'll end this one here. If you are interested in me playing Demon Slayer Online, by the way, I've started doing that yesterday. So I will leave link in the description down below for that video. I'll be doing some more videos on them. I find it really fun. It is dope. So yeah, if you want to see those, check them out. And I'll see you in the next video, guys. And peace.